Hey everybody, I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to Somewhat Daily Tarot and Rune for the 17th day of June 2020. Well, I just did the esoteric influences. I kind of skimmed through it. I didn't watch the whole thing, and I'll get that posted here after I do this. While I watch this one, when I'm doing that, and I'll also do the correspondences and astrological information for today. That'll also go up on the blog while I'm doing all that. And so I hope everybody's doing well today. We're going to have a decidedly warmer day today. I don't think there's going to be the rain that we've been getting. We don't get much here. We do get a little. Usually it's accompanied with ground striking lightning, but you know, that's another issue. So yeah, we get that. It's just bizarre. I remember being in Oklahoma. I have family there, and I was there when I was a kid on vacation one time, and you could see what they call dry lightning. It was in the evening and at night, both at dusk and at night. You could see the dry lightning, and so there's no rain, nothing like that, but there were clouds up there that weren't particularly dark or anything, but the colors that it created, you know, up there in the clouds was just incredible. And they called it dry lightning. I'd never heard that expression before, but that's what it was called. And I heard about it later on, but that was the first time I'd heard that expression. And I'm like, what do you mean dry lightning? You know, lightning is electrical. What do you mean? And what it just means that there's no rain and you're just watching a light show, basically. And then we get that here, you know, we do. And sometimes it's like you think it's going to rain, but it doesn't, you know. But it sure feels like it. The whole energy gets really heavy in the air, and it's like you're just wishing, God, just rain already, you know. But other than that, that's what we have here. We have ground striking lightning. One time it hit in the backyard on we had a ground rod it was a piece of rebar, but it was acting as a ground rod, and it was out just past the backyard, and I was in the kitchen. I was pregnant, and I was at the stove. I was cooking, and it hit, and I can tell you that the energy around me was so strange. My husband is screaming at me, "Do not touch anything." And he was in the living room, I'm in the kitchen, and he's screaming, "Don't touch anything." And oh my God. It literally, the air felt electric. It was the weirdest thing I've ever experienced, the other weirder thing I had was when what would be called a dust devil, a whirlwind, and it was big. I saw it coming. I was in the driveway, and I saw it coming across my neighbor's field, and I don't know. I just stood there and watched, and it went right through me, and right over me, right through me, and I was in the middle of it, and it took a little bit for it to happen, and because it wasn't moving very fast. But then, you know, you watched it pick stuff up in our pasture, and I mean, it wasn't a tornado, of course. It was just a whirlwind. But to be in the middle of that, you know, every witch's dream, to experience the elements firsthand, you know. So, yeah. I try not to miss things like that, you know. I want that experience. I want to know what that energy feels like. And so I just stood there and watched it come toward me. It's like, hi, how are you? You know. So anyway, that's enough of that. The strange things witches will get themselves into, I swear, it's just silly, the things we do. But anyway, today is innate energy, so we're talking about the spiritual warrior within, practical matters, universal harmony, all of that, but doing it from the standpoint of leadership, both within and without. So leadership of yourself and leadership of others. In other words, set an example for others to follow today, and wear a mask when you go out. So. Anyhow, for the rest of all that, you have to watch the esoteric influences. So, anyway, let's go ahead and take our first 3 cards. If this is your first time here, welcome. Thank you so much for coming. If you're coming back, thank you, thank you. I totally appreciate everybody that's subscribed and comes back and watches and just spends this time and just, you know, thinks, and you think about how all this can affect your day and your choices and all of that. And if it helps, great. I'm happy about that. Or maybe it plants a seed where later on you remember, oh, you know, the Tower talks about this, and you know, and I think that really applies to what I'm dealing with here. So it's that kind of stuff, right? So anyway, let's go ahead and take our first 3 cards. Again, I'm going to take the 13th one each time for randomness sake. If we need any more, we'll take them. But if not, we'll move on to the Elder Futhark bag, take a rune out of that, and then we'll close out with the Geomancy rune. So let's go ahead and take our first 3 cards. Oh, well, the 5 of Wands, a little playful struggle, a little bit of change going on, negotiation maybe. Nobody's really hitting one another in that card. So I always tend to interpret it as playful struggle or working things out or you know, just sort of everyone's asserting their own will a little bit, you know, but not in terms of hurting anybody else. Just maybe the exchange of ideas, maybe. I mean, that would be more swords, you know, the air element, but even with the wands, you know, ideas are coming out. So, you know. I got 2 cards at once there. So we've got the 6th card of the Major Arcana, the Lovers. Now, that can indicate both polarity within and without. So, you know, not only the inner polarity, but it can also indicate partnership with others and how we manifest that. You know, we've got right now a 5 and now a 6 in terms of the order of the cards so far. But, you know, we move cards around here in this reading, so we don't necessarily stick with the order that we pull them. The reading has to make sense. And just because you pull something in a particular order doesn't mean it needs to stay that way. You can move your cards around. You can make things make sense to you. If you've got court cards, let them talk to one another. Maybe there's a conversation to be had. Maybe there isn't. But you want to get the most out of your reading. So move them around. Even if it's in a pre-planned spread like Celtic Cross or what have you, or past, present, future, again, maybe it's just it's a little more random than what you realize. So particularly, you know, if you're laying cards out, you know, 1, 2, 3 right after one another, you're not doing what I'm doing here. Normal readings, I don't. I just shuffle and lay cards out, you know, just like that, like everyone else does. But I just want to be really random here. But just understand, even when you do that, it has to make sense. You know, so sometimes moving them around, you see you see the pattern better of what and what the message is behind the reading. Okay, I just do influences. If someone wants a reading where, yeah, I need to know something about something, okay, that's fine, but I'm still going to tell you the influences. I'm going to tell you all of that. I don't make predictions. I don't do any of that. For that, I use a pendulum. So, no, but I don't do it with cards. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Right at that same spot, I keep taking 2 cards at once. It's weird. Well, I have the 8. So there's some level of progression here, but not we didn't get a 7. So, but we have the 8 energy here of the 8 of Cups. So let's start with this. I think I'm going to leave the Lovers in the center. I think we're going to make that our significator from which all things are influenced. So the primary influence of the reading we'll call the Lovers. So let's start with the Lovers first. The 6th card of the Major Arcana. 6 is a higher self number. Integration with others, shared purpose, shared direction, shared harmony, shared abundance. We see the angel above. We see the sun above the angel's head. That is source energy. And with the angel is expressing basically balanced polarity into form. We see the patriarchal nature of the card with Eve on one side, Adam on the other. Adam, of course, is standing in front of an oak tree, whereas Eve is standing in front of the apple tree, with, of course, a serpent coiled around because, of course, she's the one who caused everything, right? No. No. She most certainly was not. I don't believe in the story of Adam and Eve as is told. All right, and I'm just going to be honest with you about that. I'm of the group of people who believe that what we think of as God from the Bible is not source presence. It's not the real creator. The Bible is about our experiences with the extraterrestrials that were here on planet that were manipulating our DNA at the time, and the relationship that we had with them, how we grew from all of their interference. Now, perhaps some were benevolent, perhaps some were not. It seems kind of like that's what was going on. So to view it this way is ridiculous. The Watchers were, and what we call angels, are not, that's not what that is. Yeah, there are other they're higher dimensional beings, of course. They couldn't have come here doing the things they were doing if they weren't. But to think that they were, no, no, they were sent here to, well, for whatever purposes they wanted to come here. Now, maybe they came here to try to elevate humanity, especially as all the nonsense was going on. But the bottom line was, the structure that we ended up with is not what should have been. Our power as souls inhabiting this body is massive, and we don't realize it, and we don't act within it because we aren't at that frequency of experience yet. We're rising to it, though. That's the whole point of what's going on now. We're in the time of ascension, and what that means is our frequency is rising. So is our awareness of our source presence within. And as that continues, as that grows, we'll leave behind this reality. So this is a tough card for me to try to interpret, because I don't interpret it the same way. The serpent behind was likely Enki, who's giving knowledge to humanity, to the stronger of the two, the woman, because the man was not the stronger of the two. Now, obviously, we've got a ridiculous shift in perception to where, the male-dominated world, the patriarchal world that we live in, responsible for all the isms, responsible for all the power problems, responsible for all of the oppression. It's an out-of-control masculine resonance within. Whether you're a woman or a man, it doesn't really make any difference. We all possess both. The positive and negative, the masculine and the feminine. Those energies have to be in balance, and that's what the Lovers is talking about. But the tree of knowledge is not behind the man. It's that spindly oak tree where all he sees is power. He doesn't move from a place of understanding or knowledge, whereas the woman does. And look where the woman's face is. She's not looking at him. He's looking at her, though. She's focused on spirit. She's focused on the message of the goddess from the angel above. She's focused on source presence. He's just looking at her because he can't do anything without her. You look at the ineptness of the kings in the tarot. Without their queen, they're nothing. Some tarot decks will show you have the empress and then the emperor. And oftentimes, if you put them together, it shows the emperor looking back at the empress. Again, can't look forward, can't look you in the eye. Needs guidance from the woman. And that's why she stands in front of the tree of knowledge, with the serpent energy behind her. A serpent energy of creation, because the beings that were here were likely serpent oriented and serpent looking. You look at some of the reliefs, you look at the Egyptian stuff, you look at the Sumerian stuff, you look at all of that. You look at the architecture and you see these creatures. Well, they didn't make them up. It's what was here. So when we talk about the polarity of the lovers, it's really more than just balancing the masculine and feminine within, because all of that, we can talk about that, but what do we mean by it? We mean controlling our behavior, controlling our perceptions, keeping them balanced so that we're not out there seeing, and so that, in other words, if the police did that, well, you'd never see what you're seeing now. It would never even occur to them to behave this way. And yet we've gotten this imbalance so great now. And now it's just a battle of wills, isn't it? But this battle of wills, something is happening and something's changing. That's the 5 energy there. The 5 is about protection and safety, the pentagram, change, momentum, movement. But through this battle of wills, nobody's really getting hurt, even though they're expressing, some ideas here. But the end result's going to be we're going to let go of emotions that no longer serve us. Oh, sure, the way might be, have some rocks in the way. You can see that right there. You can see the craggy mountains around there. He's right there at the shore, the water's edge. He's got these chalices stacked up on top of one another with his own body, making up what might have been the 9th one, signifying endings. But here, instead of something coming to its own ending with a 9, here this 8 energy, like what we have today, is, I thought my candle, I didn't know what I saw. But here we have it 8 energy, again, aligning with the rune Tiwaz, or the god Tyr, or the spiritual warrior within. He understands the truth, the greater understanding of things, right? He has that. And so he's making the choice before something comes to its natural conclusion to take that leap of faith himself and to move on in a new direction, no matter what it takes, to bring balance, to a better balance to a situation, to see through the eyes of spirit, to shift the perception from he's looking at her to her looking at the angel, changing the focus from ego to spirit. We have to move on from that which no longer serves, whether it's the healthcare system currently, or whether it's into something that's more universal healthcare. The Affordable Care Act was never meant to be all that there was. It was about a way to restructure things better in a way so that people would not go bankrupt. All right. Now, but at the end of the day, it's really moving us to what would be considered Medicare for all, something like that, or a public option or something, where we have universal health care that's you pay in, and maybe it's based on a sliding scale based on how much money you make or don't make. So maybe if you don't make anything really, then maybe you don't pay in, right? You don't pay a premium. But maybe someone who's making $100,000 a year does. Okay. But in any event, however we levy it, however we create it, however it happens, it's clear now this is what's going to have to happen. We don't know what's going to happen with this pandemic, but we know that people are having problems after they recover. We do know that. Now, how widespread that's going to be, we don't know that. What if it is? And what if you leave your job or you get a new job or whatever, and now you've got this pre-existing condition? The Affordable Care Act said, well, you can't be denied for pre-existing conditions. So it did some things that got people thinking that, hey, you know what? We can actually expect this, that this is right. This is what should be happening. So from that, we now build on it, right? Well, we haven't been, but going forward, we're going to have to understand that what we're witnessing now and what we'll see unfold in the future is going to probably force us in this 22 year, this cosmic builder year, to make a shift in perception over what needs to happen now. And we're going to do it, unfortunately. We're learning a lesson basically in the process, but we're going to take the challenge, we're going to take it on, and we're going to do it. The same with changing the racial justice in this country to one that doesn't kill black people. I saw a video yesterday where, I don't know, 4 or 5, I don't know, they looked like teenage boys. They were all black. They cut through a neighborhood. They were on the way to the store. That's all they were doing. Next thing you know, cops are surrounding them at gunpoint. Children, they're teenagers. They're not doing anything. So, before we're put in a position of true, chaos, let's let the Tiwas within, the God Tyr, the spiritual warrior within, rise up within us and make the decision we need to make before it's too late. And that's what I feel with this card. He's making a decision to move on from emotions and perceptions that no longer serve him. And it doesn't matter what rocks are in the way. It doesn't matter what challenges he faces. He's going to do it anyway because he knows it's the right thing now. He's got it all in order. He knows exactly where he needs to go. Emotionally and perceptions. He's got them all there. He's seen them. He says, I'm rejecting this and I'm going to move on to something better. Something that reflects the unity of the lovers. Something that reflects spirit. I think that's where we are now. I've never seen this many people out in the streets for this long of a time. It's not letting up, and I don't think it's going to. Again, I think that well, of course it's not. Othala is the rune for today. It's the 24th rune of the Elder Futhark. We're talking, we're talking us. We're talking tradition, inheritance, family, unity, the collective. In other words, us, not just our immediate family. Othala is about all of us together. It's understanding the notion of self and the other side of self. And that's all this is. Everything you see, everyone you see, the other side of self. What are we doing? What are we doing to each other? Makes no sense. Well, here's Othala. I know, it's terrifying, isn't it? She's drawing again. Here's Othala. Oh, lots of things in here. We're going to start with the top one. We have Ingus, or Inguas. Depends on how you pronounce it. It can also be done like this, 2 X's. But there you have Inguas, which is the seed. It's the sudden release of energy, creative energy, and isn't that what's going on right now? Solutions are being found. In other words, we're not just talking about it, we're doing it. But what we have, when we explode that out, we have Kenaz in all directions, the light of spirit, informing that whole process. Now, down below, we have Gebo. Seventh rune of the Elder Futhark, sorry. And it is the light of spirit, the torch. I'm not the light of spirit and the torch, that's Kenaz, duh. That's balanced energy exchange with others. I'm already exploding it in my head, so yeah. So we have it there, and we also have it here. So we have the light of spirit pointing inward to our own decisions and perceptions, and then down here, we have it expressed outward. It's like our awareness has turned into pure light. We have become the pure light being that we are by the time we get to Athala. Okay? We have learned all the lessons of the runes. All right? We have become integrated together. And with Othala, there we are in pure light together. Is that not where we are now? Things are happening. You're seeing police departments change. You're seeing new rules instituted. You're seeing a shift in things, and it's only been a short time. You're seeing people make their own videos coming out saying, no, 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 no. I fought for this country. Wear a mask. I didn't do that so you can run around and act like fools and not wear a mask. I didn't go and protect this country overseas so you all could not wear a mask. I risked my life. I got wounded. I'm disabled. And you can't wear a mask here? I see people saying, I have relatives that were in the Holocaust, that were in concentration camps, and you can't wear a mask. Odds are you're going to be around someone that looks like me with my hair color. Can't you wear a mask? Yeah. That's what Athala is about. It's about doing what we have to do so that the collective goes on. So we live to fight another day. So we live to succeed another day. So we live to create another day. So we live to become something else. Right? Well, let's see what the geomancy rune is for today. Oh, well, okay. You know, I love it when synchronicities happen during the reading. We're talking about family with Othala. We're talking about who we are vis-a-vis other people with the lovers. Well, with the geomancy rune, we're talking about conjunctio, and that's joining together and union with others. This is the geomancy rune for today, conjunctio. And again, you can feel us coming together with others. Just everything falling into place in balanced energy exchange. So, don't you love it when that happens? When things get like this and you can actually see it all connect with one another, on this 8 energy day, when we should be understanding the greater picture and have a greater understanding of things. That it's not simply about what we want to do ourselves, but about what the collective needs to do going forward. Whether it's dealing with the issues of our time, which will likely be healthcare and also racial justice. Those are the two things that we're dealing with right now, and just surviving the pandemic. We also have other issues. We have a totally corrupt government right now that was supposed to not be that. There's a problem. Oh, I won't be like that. Oh, no, 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 no. Whatever he says, you got to believe the opposite of. That's what we've all figured out. Seriously, if you just believe the opposite, then you have a pretty good sense of what's going on. Right? No, he wasn't put here to help us. He was put here to do this. Make no mistake about it. But, every time the truth tries to come out, they find a way to stop it from coming out. That should never be. There should be complete transparency as to what our government is doing, and there isn't. It's supposed to be. But, they refuse to come for subpoenas. They think the court isn't going to make them come, and so far they haven't. So I don't know. They basically have ground the whole operation of the government to a halt. The only thing that's happening is whatever grift that's going on. So I don't know. What do? You take to the streets and you vote in November for something else, for something better. Look. We really are supposed to be the United States of America. We really are. It doesn't mean we won't argue. It doesn't mean we won't, have disagreements. We will. We should. can't always, you know, how do you know if maybe there's something better if someone else doesn't speak up and say, hey, what about this? Anyone think of this? Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Got to have it. Got to be there. It's the way it is supposed to be, right? But what we're doing now makes no sense. And so if you're somebody that's confused about that and you think that this is a personal sovereignty issue, you know, don't make a video of yourself saying it. That stuff's forever. So you don't want to be that guy. Anyway, I just think, and I say this pretty much every time, the readings have been showing us getting a change in perception here and arriving at something that's more conducive to unity and understanding that we have a shared path together. And we always have. We just haven't managed it very well because we've unfortunately given things over to the powers that be that don't deserve any of that. They're not people that can handle it. They're not people that can shepherd us through anything. They just aren't. And that's clear now. So we have to take the bull by the horns. If we want a different world, we have to insist on it. We have to remove the people that are in the way of that, and we have to put people in there that will do what we want them to do. And that's create a better world for all of us. We task them with that purpose. But they shouldn't get confused as to who holds the reins. It's not them, it's us. We have to take back that authority that they convinced us we don't have. Of course we do. You don't like someone who's in your city council, do a recall. You don't like the mayor, do a recall. You don't like the governor, do a recall. If they're not doing what they said they were going to do, if they're messing things up, then you have to do something. You can't wait till their term is over sometimes. We did that here. We impeached this guy. Senate Republicans refused to act. Can you imagine where we might be if they had? Well, no, because you got the vice president who's going to be as dumb as the president. But at the same time, we need to see that in action so we can understand what our responsibilities are vis-a-vis doing something about it. Do we wait? Do we do something about the vice president who's now the president? What do we do? Do we just let it all go? You know, no, we can't. So if we've learned anything about this time, is that we have to be proactive. We can't sit back and hope somebody else is going to fix things. Instead, we have to come together in the conjunctio of it all. Remember that we are all one with one another in the Othala of it all. And make the hard choice. Because I guarantee you, once we make it, we're going to wonder why we ever thought it was difficult at all. I guarantee you, we get on the other side of some of these issues, where we'll be, we'll look back, and we won't even know why we were ever there. It will be so abhorrent to even think we could have done these things, that our government could behave the way that it does. It's just not going to happen. So let's use this 22 energy for the year, this soul level change energy, and head in the direction we should be heading all along. And that's together, not apart, together. So anyway, I guess that's it. Thanks for watching. Check out the blog over at imsteppingaside.com. It's called Stepping Aside. It's a witch and herbalism blog, so metaphysical blog if you want to check that out. The videos are going in the side panel again versus in the body where I put posts. It's going to be on this left side panel. Well, there's only one side panel. You'll see it. Scroll down. You can see them there if you want to. Otherwise, you can watch them on YouTube. And I post them around, so, you know, on social media. So anyway, check the links below. You can see where to follow me. There's also some, there's a link to masks. If you haven't made masks yet, there's a link to that. There's also How to make a bleach solution, also hand sanitizer, how to make that if you don't have any, if you still are out in your area. We're starting to see that stuff come back. So they're not, I mean, they're still kind of restricting how much you can buy on some things. You know, they still only want you buying one thing of toilet paper and one thing of hand sanitizer, and that's fine because, but now I managed to get actually pretty decent size, well, about the size of my cup, maybe a little bit bigger. I got a big one, some Germex stuff, and I found some of that and grabbed it because I was running out, and I've made some, but I'm also running out of that, so I just bought some this time, and the other stuff I had. We've just been using it very gingerly, you know, using lots of soap and water and not really trying to use the hand sanitizer because we wanted to make it stretch. We take it with us in the car, but we don't use it around the house. So just we just didn't know just how much was going to be available and when. You know, we're still waiting on. We're being gingerly with our surgical gloves because trying to use them only when we go out because we haven't gotten our new ones yet. They're still not here. And so I don't know. I may have to try to find source them someplace else. But the ones that I've seen in stores around here are so expensive. I think I saw a price of like, what was it, almost $30 on one box. That's ridiculous. They're gouging, and they should be ashamed, right? They should be ashamed. But in any event, I guess that's it. Take care of yourself. Please stay safe. Wear a mask if you're out. Just do that one thing and be the spiritual warrior I know that you all are, and protect yourself, protect one another. Let's get this virus where it belongs, which is not hurting anybody anymore. Let's just do that for one another, and you know, make it a better world. Let's all just do something together for once, be on the same page, and feel that momentum, feel that energy. You'll want to feel it again. Trust me, you will. So you're going to want to do it all over again. Be united. It's cool. Anyway, thanks for watching. Come back tomorrow. Be good to yourself, be good to one another, and blessed be.